And we are back. Welcome back to the channel. Josh and Brandy Helm here. This is the Italy Barndominium. We're excited today because we're going to be showing you guys the finished walkthrough tour on this build. It's always a great time to be able to do this. So let's give them some of the details on this particular build.
All right, well, this is a beautiful one. It's 1,836 square feet of living space, and the shop is almost as big as the house. It's over 1,300 square feet. It's a 3-bedroom and 2-bath, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, we've got a lot of details on the inside. We look forward to going in and showing you guys some of that here in just a bit. But on the exterior, we're displaying this beautiful black roof with the trim and the downspouts. And then on the corner corners trim, we're using the white to match the polar white, as well as all of the soffits. And we have just the black accent windows. You know, this is such a nice touch. And we also have this wainscoting on the front with the Luter stone. And you know, just really looks nice. And what's a couple other things we got here on the exterior?
Well, one thing that this one has that not all of our builds do is extra concrete. We got a lot of driveways and walkways, which is really helpful for making everything look complete, keeping the dirt out, keeping people from tracking mud in and things like that. So
yes, so another thing that is pretty cool on this build is the cedar wrapped posts. All of our posts are steel, but you know, sometimes they want to accent a little bit, have some cedar features, and that is totally possible to do. You know, anytime you're using cedar, it does mean you have a little bit of maintenance over time, but for the most part, the true advantages of the Barndominium is there is hardly any maintenance on the exterior. So, you know, that's a big plus.
sure. And one other thing that this one has that we haven't really done before is a cupola. It's got the horse on the copper horse on there. It's really pretty. It's a nice
the weather
touch.
vane.
Yes.
So telling us that the wind, which direction it's blowing from, which I think it's coming from the north today. So you know, we are thinking that cupola looks really good on the top of this build. Now, keep in mind when you're installing a cupola, we just have a solid roof surface underneath there, so none of the roof is being compromised, but it's a really nice added detail and really attractive as well for the curb appeal of this home. So we look forward. Let's go on the inside. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get it going. And coming inside, it's definitely a lot less windy in here.
For sure.
So, you know, this is really beautiful. We have this big display of so many things going on here with we've got the fireplace, we've got the ceiling fan, we've got this big open vaulted area with all of our faux beams that we have going on with the wood beams.
That's the first thing I saw when I walked in is those beautiful beams up there.
And those are all accented to match a lot of the stain colors that we're using on the front door entryway, which is a really beautiful door as well. So, you know, let's look at a couple other things we have as far as the finished details on the inside.
So all the stain in this home is an oak wood stain. So the different accent pieces with the island and the doors, all the wood is stained the oak wood.
And the stained concrete floors that we have throughout on this build. And we could talk about this beautiful fireplace here. We have a custom piece going on with that.
It's like an old barnwood, but it's big, it's massive.
This was an item that our client found and through some vendor, and they had this piece brought in, which is a really nice touch, a large mantle, which a little different than just having your standard cedar. So I like that the stain kind of blends in as well with the rest of the wood accents. And then we have a true propane fireplace here. So you got the remote and those that's a really cool feature as well, or a warm feature, I guess we should say, not cool. And of course the stone features here going all the way up. This is your Austin stone that has a real beautiful display here as well. And moving on throughout, we have quite a bit of space for the living area, but I think we were talking about it, that this could be plenty of
dining
space for a dining table, because it has that, what we call a split design. You have your master suite on this side of the house, your other bedrooms on that side of the house. You have this common open area front to back, which is a typical type of a setup on a lot of these builds, giving you that vaulted option as well.
Right, but you could definitely put a table here and then also utilize the island for seating.
For your bar stools. And man, what a beautiful display for our kitchen area. But, you know, we are going to show you guys the back porch here in a bit as we'll go through those doors. But moving into this area, we have a lot of, I think, little fancy fixings is what we would call it here on this build.
Sure. So they did a Valor White quartz upgrade on their countertops, and that looks really pretty, and all the black accents with the hardware and things they have in here.
And we have some shaker style cabinets that are painted white, and there are the glass accents that we have here, as well as some under counter lights, or not under counter, but under cabinet lights that we have on display up top as well as below. So that's a different feature.
Yeah, so this is almost kind of like a built-in like China hutch kind of thing. You can put some of your pretty decorative things in the ones that have the glass, and then of course, you know, all of your, you know, cups or things that you don't really want to see, you can kind of put behind the other doors.
Right, a little mixture of both.
I like having
worlds.
both, yeah.
But a lot of drawer space, as you can see. I mean, just solid drawers, which I think that's kind of like your I think bonus luxury top stuff you want to have. Everybody wants drawers, it seems like nowadays, instead of just cabinets they got to reach under.
The cool thing about having a drawer versus a cabinet door is you're not having to reach all the way to the back, or there's not things getting kind of pushed behind that you can't see and can't get to. You have to kind of climb down under there. So with the drawer, you can just pull it out, you can see it all, organize it all, and it looks nice.
More drawers, the better.
Yeah.
So here they're definitely taking advantage of that. Of course, a pretty cool setup here for the backsplash.
Yeah, it's just like a gray subway tile, but it does have a texture to it, kind of a wave, but it's real pretty.
Also, we have this setup. This is the display here.
Yeah, we always try to do some little special, like a flower arrangement. I feel like it's a nice, welcoming.
Do you think most of our audience already knows this?
Know that. Most of them do, unless this is the first video they watched, and they'll be like, "What's it with flowers?"
If this is your first video watching, welcome to the channel.
Yeah.
So we also, I like this when you can have something looking out to the back, you know, when you're standing in the kitchen doing prep work or whatever. It's just an invitation to look out back, see what's going on outside while you're doing. And
from this vantage point, you can see the front gate and you can see the back gate. Like you can see, you know.
Yeah, if you have a party going on in the back porch, or you have guests or things of that nature, or somebody's grilling out back, you know, you might want to be able to look out there. So, or open the window and holler, bring the steaks in. Or whatever. Anyways, so moving on through here, more cabinet space, and of course,
the corner pantry.
Corner pantry, and we have added some power as well in there. But this is pretty typical setup for a pantry space when you have the corner pantry. But I think we've all determined that this does create a lot of good space for storage.
Well, because if you put a cabinet in that corner instead of the pantry, then you have a lot of wasted space where you can't get to. Again, you're not, you know, you'd have to do a really custom drawer to be able to get a drawer to go all the way back to a corner. So it's kind of a good way to use an awkward space.
I really love the island. This is a real classy look, but we do have our standard X pattern on the end pieces, which is pretty typical for a lot of times that we do.
Something I like about this one is they have it's like a double dishwasher. So like they have a smaller drawer and a bigger drawer on top. So you can, if you have just a smaller load that, you just have a few things you need to do, you can put it in the smaller.
I saw you were eyeing that, like, well, maybe this might need to spend a little more money next time, Josh. But also we have the farm sink, which is, it's kind of different. It's got the design of this Kohler sink has an offset drain. So what do you think the advantages are for that? Just drainage, I guess, going from, instead of the center, it drains to the right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the advantage is, but it looks neat. So.
Well, so you're, if you need set pans or whatever
you
down
keep
that
all
way.
your stuff to the side instead.
And we have a large, I do like the finish of this because it has this sort of ornament. It's not really decorative, but it has a.
It's not super smooth. It still
What do you
has
call that? Like a battered.
It's like a texture, like almost like your wall texture or something. It's kind of got a little bit of a texture to it. So.
And then we have the trash drawer, which is a nice.
And I just noticed when you shut that drawer that they have soft close on these, and that's
Yes.
an extra, thing to consider whenever you're doing your cabinet layout. You can.
Yeah, nobody's getting mad and slamming cabinets around here.
No.
It's not allowed. So
Yeah.
if you want to ensure that, your wife can't take it out on the cabinets.
She's doing the dishes over here. She's bad.
No slamming stuff around here. And I think we even got soft close on barn doors and stuff like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give light to what we got going on here.
Well, we are missing an appliance.
Oh.
I believe that's probably a double oven that's going here.
Yes.
But it maybe didn't make it in time. But we've got
Some large upper cabinets.
lots of cabinet storage.
And I'm imagining, salt and pepper, things of that nature going in there.
Sure.
You've got the stamped Vena hood, which is a pretty classic.
Which is stained to match the island.
You guys might remember going back to the Mansfield Barndominium, the Tundra Barndominium,
Maypearl, maybe.
Maypearl Barndominium. What are some of the other ones? The Whitney farm style build. All of them had this similar setup. This is, it's something that our cabinet maker specifically has built for us on a lot of these builds. So this is our stamp.
And this one has a pop filler. And I never really noticed, never thought about needing one until I told one of our kids to help out with dinner the other night, and they were going to slosh the pan, full of water from here to there. So that would be a nice thing that to make sure and add. You got to let somebody know ahead of time, though, if you want to get water in the wall right
That's
there.
right.
So
That's right. But I love that. I think this is a pretty cool setup as well with the
gas stove.
the gas. So this is always a nice feature to have, and a lot of people like cooking on propane.
Well, when you have an electric stove, when you turn those on, they stay hot. So even if you say you're like, oh, it's boiling, and you want to turn it down, it takes it a while for it to decrease in the heat. So with that gas, it's immediate. So
Pretty cool. Of course, more drawers. I mean,
More
we have
drawers.
nothing but drawers on the bottom, which I think, hey, they were adamant about that. Now, this is our wrapped refrigerator cabinet. Pretty standard. We like to close and cap those off when we can on the ends. We do that a lot of times as opposed to building like a wall, but sometimes we do build a wall. So it just really kind of depends on
I just like that
design.
it's tucked away, because I've seen some people, they'll post pictures of their builds and they just have kind of a refrigerator standing off to the side, and it kind of just looks
Yeah.
like you set a fridge there. And
That's
this
right.
way it's built in.
These are not just cabinets you go buy,
Right.
and off the shelf and plug them in.
No, because our customers have to actually give us their appliance specs, because we don't supply the appliances. They have to let us know what they have, what they're planning on using, and then we build around that.
And last but not least, we have some really cool pendant lights.
Yeah, those are really neat. It's like a blown glass, but there's almost like some imperfections. Like I think they wanted it to be a rustic.
Imperfections on purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Like sanded up, yeah.
So this is pretty nice. I really love this setup. And of course, some people are always dismayed to some extent by the echo in a build like this, but there's no furniture, rugs, all the things. There's no absorbent amount of people in here to take up that sound. So this is something that you just have to kind of contend with if you're going to have high ceilings or have a big house.
And concrete floors, they definitely add to that. So
that's true. So moving on, what are we going to go next?
I think we should go to the master.
Okay, let's go check it out. Got to love the soft closed barn doors.
And soft open.
Yeah, that's always nice. And it's really not that hard to add on a barn door if you need to. So this is the master suite room, and pretty good size. This is like a, got your nice fan here, windmill fan in the center. You have the can lighting, all of your typical farm style trim in this room, but a lot of windows as well.
One thing I wanted to talk about, it's kind of something you don't really think about until it's too late. When you're picking out your ceiling fan, these houses are pre-wired, so they're wired to, they know you're going to have a ceiling fan, they know you're going to have the can lights, but sometimes ceiling fans have lights in them. And sometimes they don't. And so if you wanted an extra light switch for the ceiling fan light, or if you don't, then you're going to have kind of a dead switch if you don't kind of already have that picked out beforehand. So
yes, and our electricians usually do wire in both. So you'll have, and then sometimes you need to put in a dummy switch or whatever, just a flat blank or whatever on a light receptacle. But it's kind of a choice, but something that we're always going through, like we need to reorder that setup.
Right. Or you're like, this light switch doesn't do anything, but it's for the light that was supposed to be there.
There's no door here going into the bathroom, but I'm assuming it's because it's so beautiful. So
yeah, they just want to be able to look at it.
Let's check that out. We have dual vanities. So you have his and hers, I'm imagining, because the laundry is over here.
Really?
I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
No, it's because there's a bigger vanity over here.
Yes.
It doesn't need much.
A bigger vanity, but this one I don't know, it's not taller, is it?
No, they're the same.
So tell me about this space under the vanities, because I think we see some duplicity.
So the drawers are a little different. There's not a face to them. They just have the little dip for the to be able to pull out, and then they have like an open cubby. I guess that would be maybe for your towels. You could kind of fold up your towels and put them in there.
Kind of gives that, hotel or whatever you call a nice place to stay. Gives that a kind of feeling to it, like you can set up your towels or whatever you might want to there on display, so it's easy access, which is pretty cool. And then the framed mirrors to match, that is a nice touch. And I just love this stain color. Do you know the color of this?
It's an oak wood is what it's called.
Oak wood stain.
It looks so good with all the black accents and all the hardware.
I think this is a good one that's kind of repeatable. But you have this sleek design here with this black hardware. Looks amazing. And then we have the drawer space here, as well as the upper cabinet space and lower. So a lot of extra, and that's not really laundry. It's really just more for linen.
Yes.
And then, of course, window looking out. But we have an open shower area here, so that's a little bit different.
And this is a marble tile, and I like the chevron pattern down on the.
Beautiful choices on tile. This actually is a tile we've used before in the past. If you look at the Maypearl Barndominium, this is the similar tile, and I believe this is like a 3 by 14 inch of some sort. I'm not exactly sure on the dimensions of that, but this was purchased at Floor and Decor. Shout out to our Floor and Decor folks out there. So, and the black matte hardware, as well as that chevron pattern as you're talking about that we're using the soapbox. And here we have a shower head that is like kind of like a rain head, but it's a flat,
It's definitely bigger than just your standard, small.
White
Shower
and
head.
bright here in this bathroom it's just a nice touch. So it really goes well. And I like the joining of this kind of rough concrete going into such a nice setup like that. It looks really cool. So moving from here, we also have the private toilet area with the pocket door.
Pocket door.
And there's still some upper cabinet storage here in this room too, giving it plenty of space for all the additional storage that you would need or want. And our closet in the back. This is a really cool setup. Talk about what we got going on in here.
So in here, they, in addition to the normal, cubby space, hanging space, they had us build in
A little bit of a custom.
a dresser. It's basically,
A little bit of a custom.
chest of drawers, and they have some real pretty knobs. These were purchased by the customer, so that added a little bit of a personal touch to it as well. So more drawer space. But I love having that kind of stuff in the closet, because then you don't have to have all that furniture in your bedroom. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives you a place.
It is a great thing to consider when you're trying to set up your room. And here, they could, because you got your door space here. I'm sure you could set up a bench or whatever on one side or the other. But there's a lot of cubby storage or shelf storage that you can have, and as well as your high hanging clothes racks. I like this as well. It's got this sort of a shelf space.
Yeah, this is a stained countertop instead of it, being a quartz or something like that. But I think that's a great place to set jewelry boxes. I'm sure you'd come in and put your wallet, your keys there. It kind of gives you a place to set your stuff.
So yes, pocket drop right here on top of this deal. Definitely like that. We added some drawers in our closet, and it's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, you took over all
I
of
took
them.
it all. So some additional double rack storage as well here, and all of the upper storage on the top. So there's a lot of good setup here for this closet. So let's go on to the other side of the house, and we'll show you what else is going on. So it's got a little bit of a hallway space here, but we'll show you guys the laundry area here in a minute. But this is our
first guest bedroom.
Guest bedroom with our typical setup as well in here. But you do have the front window space looking out, and then we have our closet design, which is sort of our typical setup here with the cubbies in the center with the hanging storage on each side. Very nice for your alternate bedroom.
For sure.
Got can lighting as well in here, which is, keeping things in an upgraded format.
Right.
Because a lot of times, you don't always have the cans in every room. And that leads to our laundry. And then this is a dividing bathroom between both rooms, as well as would serve for your guests if you had just daytime guests.
And I love this bathroom. I really love it. The black chevron tile on the back just goes all the way to the ceiling. It's just beautiful.
We have the chevron tile, and like you said, I love it as well, with all the penny tile on the floor as well as in the back of the soap box. We also have sort of a transitionless, but it is still a small step down, but you could use it for rolling in and out if you wanted to. And because we're going from the concrete to the tile there, and sort of a shower door, what do you call it? No door shower, I guess. I don't know what you want to call that, but it's an open shower. And you do have a little bit of glass that we did here on the top side, giving it that just elegant feel. That's what I think about when I look at this. Mm-hmm. You got that matted black feel, because it's not a real shiny tile. And it's a warm with the floating shelves that we have going on here, which I believe our cabinet maker built for us. And then our typical setup for our framed mirrors with the beautiful countertop and the rectangle undermount sink, and all of the stained cabinet.
I feel like the countertops are a little higher in the bathrooms, maybe than traditional, but I really like that. It just really helps with the space. It kind of
Yes.
brings your eye up, even though it's, yeah. So that's really
Great selections, and I think it really shows. So.
Sure. And then this is our third bedroom. This is another guest bedroom. And we've got the black doorknobs here. And there's our closet.
Just like the other one.
Yeah.
So this room looks out on the back porch. So this has really the only wall you could have used for a window, but you have plenty of options for however you want to set this room up.
We were talking earlier, this has a separate unit for this side, right?
Yes, so this side of the house, because they wanted to keep that vault in the main living area, we do have a slim duct system that we're using on this side of the house.
So you don't have like an actual unit in here like the mini split.
It's not a wall mount unit,
Right.
It's a slim duct, meaning it's a smaller HVAC unit that we're using in the attic space over these areas. So, now that's also a kind of an upgraded advantage because you can zone this side of the house differently than the way you run the other house. As long as you're not running air conditioning on this side and heat on that side, you're kind of working against yourself. But it's zoned differently, and it's not really zoned, I guess, in that sense. It's just two different units. So,
Right.
This side, is also, it's a more efficient top system for this Cooper and Hunter slim duct system that we're using.
So let's head over to the laundry room, and that'll be the last room we have inside. So in here we have the same countertops that we have in there. It's the Valor White quartz, and it's just beautiful. And of course we have all the same hardware in here. Lots of cabinet space for a laundry room.
Plenty of upper storage, and I mean, you could add some hanging in here if you wanted to for clothes, but for the most part I think they're going to utilize this. Now we did some other upgrades in here as well.
Yes, this whole room is shiplap. It's all painted white.
So when we do the shiplap, in most cases we are doing sheetrock. We go ahead and sheetrock the walls, and then we add this shiplap. So this is all painted white, which has a nice feel to it. And then here they have their appliances with the raised appliances with the additional storage under those, which is a nice touch.
And we'll head on out to the shop, which is the guys' favorite portion of the tour. And
Well,
they even did it right out here. Josh, I really like how all the things that they did in here with the
there's
sink.
you got the drive-through option in the shop. You've got the glass in the windows. We've got windows on the end gable wall as well. And I'm telling you, there's just so much space in here. As you could imagine, you could set up post lifts for whatever you wanted to do in a space like
I
this.
feel like this is kind of maybe the bigger garage door over here maybe is for parking, and then the other you can kind of pull all the way through.
Yeah, because we have a continued turnaround that goes all the way around, and the drive that goes all the way through. So these are insulated overhead doors. They did upgrade this to the black with the glass, which is similar to what you've seen in some of our other builds, like the Maypearl and the Cossi, some of those builds. But this is sort of our standard shop here. And as you can see, our framing construction is a little bit different on a shop because we have the standard steel purlins that are going horizontal instead of having vertical. So I always try to explain that to people when they're saying, well, I want to put storage above my shop, things like that. Well, we'd have to frame it differently than what our standard would include. But that's the reason why we have the big vault here, is because it's all made for strength, for just kind of a typical metal building, what it would do. And on this, they made a special request. They did want to do the PBR style panels on the adjoining wall. So when we do this, it gives a different, I think, durability, you know, for kind of a wash space. And then we have our water heater out here and as well. So this is nice because our shop sits about 1.5 inches lower than the living area. So if you ever had any, you know, anything go wrong with your water heater,
Right.
it's just going to dissipate out here.
Well, you do have to figure out where you're going to put that. It's not necessarily a pretty appliance, but it's a necessary one. So some people put them in the attic. Some people put them in, you know, maybe their own enclosed room, you know, like a closet or something. But out here is a great place for it.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I know like in our home, it's not one that we built, but the garage is not stepped down, and we have had incidents where
it's come back in the house.
Water's come back in the house, which it's sitting in the garage, but it didn't really do us any good.
Right.
So here, this is definitely the way you want to go, and this is different.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've never seen a black, you know, utility sink, but I like it.
Special order top black utility sink. It kind of goes with the whole theme. Really looks nice, and you know. Good selection choices here on this build.
Yeah, they did a great job.
So let's go. Let's show you guys the back
porch?
porch area. We'll show you guys that.
All right, so back here off of the kitchen dining room area is the wind.
It's really windy, but I mean, this is where you want to be when you want to breeze, right?
For sure. In that Texas heat, they'll welcome the breeze, I'm sure.
So this is a pretty typical porch space in some regards, but in other ways it's a step up because we have the stone wrapped on the bottom of the post as well as the cedar accents, you know, but everything else is pretty typical other than the selections. And we've got the covered soffits here, and this is our Cooper and Hunter mini split that we were just talking about. But overall, you know, this is a nice porch space, and our clients are going to be able to enjoy just so many options. They've got the propane as well for cooking, and they'll be able to set up back here and just, you know, have get-togethers and whatnot. So, you know, some of the drainage was set up as we were here kind of working on a little bit of that yesterday. But a lot of the drainage is because you have this back to front slope. You know, we've got a lot of that position to where they should still be able to maintain all their drainage because they added all this concrete, and it's really just a nice, you know, finish out on this build. So now they're ready to come in and landscape and do all their additional work back here.
Make it look lived in.
Yes.
Yeah, make it their own.
And I'll say too, another thing I really like about their selections is their wall sconces that they use. I don't know if you call them that, but for the exterior lights, it's a nice touch.
Yeah,
and they, you know, a lot of those soffit lights and those kind of things, we were able to position those down a little bit too. So it's definitely a little bit cooler today. So anyhow, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorites.
It's one of our favorites. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we please encourage you to do that. If not, hey, maybe just put a comment below. Tell us what you loved. You know, I'm sure there's something you might do a little bit differently. Some people feel obliged to tell us that, which we are always eager to hear that information. And, you know, as well as check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We have a Building Barndominiums group on Facebook as well, so which has hundreds of thousands of people on there. So, you know, for those of you that have watched this video, we appreciate it. You know, all of the activity as well as the following that you guys do, and it's always a pleasure to keep this channel going. So I'm Josh Helm.
And I'm Brandy Helm.
We're wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching. Texas Best.